put me on an X-ray table, and then all of a sudden it started going, making this noise and tilting. And the nurse started screaming, going, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I fell off onto the floor.
Whoa.
Yeah. So then they took me into Winnipeg into the hospital there, and yeah, that's where I did my recovery or whatever you want to call it.
All right, guys, this is KMKanDrum, and I have a very special guest today for the Q&A with KMKanDrum, my 21st episode now. And I am happy to bring you guys Jeff Elwood, otherwise or better known as the wheelchair drummer. Jeff, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Great to meet you, Kelly.
Yeah, likewise. So, you know, I have a certain format for this video, for this interview. But I'm going to scrap that format because your particular story is very interesting and it's very different from most all our the other drummers that are in this community. And rather than ask you the silly questions that I ask everyone else, I want to actually get into the meat of your story. So I know we talked a little bit beforehand, and yeah, I'm so glad that we did because I want to talk to you about your story. I want people to hear uh, how things came about in your life. The very little bit that we talked about, um, I felt like it was so inspiring, and I just want people to know. So rather than get into these silly questions, I really just want to know your story. I hope you're okay with that.
No, that sounds great. No problem. Yeah.
Awesome. So let me ask you first, how long have you been playing drums?
Well, I've been playing drums like in a wheelchair for about since 2000, so I guess 19 years. And then I started originally in '83 when I was 15. So yeah,
So you started when you were 15 and you were full able-bodied with all your limbs, right?
oh yeah. I broke my back in '89. I in a motocross accident. So up until then, I was like, yeah, I was mostly into sports more so than music and that. And I kind of got into drums, not really by accident, but it wasn't like I went, oh, I want to go play drums. It was sort of a thing where I had a friend in art class, and
Mm.
I guess it'd be the winter of '83, and he played the band, and he invited me over to his house to go watch his band play, and they were just amazing. Like, he had been a drum teacher for about 5 years at the time, even though he was only a teenager, so he was kind of like that prodigy type player. And he was amazing, and they were playing like Rush and Zeppelin and the Who, and just kind of blew my mind. I didn't know that anyone at that age could play stuff like that, especially in a band situation. And that. So kind of blew my
Yeah.
mind. And then he was like, "Well, how about if I teach you how to play?" And I was like, "Sure." So it wasn't like a typical drum lesson sort of situation.
Yeah.
We hung out every day, so it was like more like a mentorship thing where he taught me how to play songs right away. Like actually the very first thing he taught me was how to play Rock of Ages, the intro from Pyro
Cool.
So yeah, he taught me how to play. You know when you're a kid and you had in music class you had those little rectangular music books. It's just one of those little things, and he
Yeah.
wrote out the notation for the intro of Rock of Ages. And I just did it with the hi hats because I didn't have a cowbell or I didn't have a drum kit or anything. So I just sort of played on his. He had like a nice 7-piece pearl kit, which
Wow.
is like really cool. Yeah. That's where I started, and then he just basically showed me how, in the very beginning, how to learn songs from records and all that kind of stuff, and how to play the actual music. So it's kind of like uh, sort of fast track to actually play. A lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than tediousness of learning theory and stuff like that. to this day, you know, I know what it is, but I can't read to like my playing ability by any stretch, you know, which I wish I could. So, but that's how that sort of went, and you know, it's really cool because at the time I had met uh, one of my best friends right now, who's still in my current band, my original band. I met him around that time. He just had moved to Edmonton. He was like, already a wizard guitar player, joined the band around that time. That would be like in June of '83, something.
Okay.
We had our first gig in September of '83, so which
Wow.
I actually or not. I have it actually on video, which is pretty crazy. Um, I bumped into
That
our bass player a few years back, and for some reason they had videoed it on Betamax back in the day. So
nice.
yeah, the whole thing. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and then I saw my first concert in I guess fall of '83. So it was Iron Maiden Peace of Mind tour. So that kind of blew my mind and solidified my interest in playing drums. Playing
That's awesome. It's so weird that you started playing before you actually saw your first concert, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think almost every single one of the guys that I've interviewed so far, or guys and girls, um, they had already gone to their first concert before started playing, myself included. So it's weird to hear that answer, that you actually started playing first and then went to your first concert. That's kind of cool.
First real concert, because the first concert I saw was my drum teacher's band, which was amazing. Like they were like great. Like they could literally play Rush and Zeppelin and all that stuff. It just kind of blew my mind. And I know I wasn't really expecting the epicness of an Iron Maiden concert. It was like that was pretty crazy seeing that, and especially back in the '80s when it was just so
Yeah.
huge lights and the unbelievable sound systems. You know, it was like every concert was one-upmanship on who had the most lights. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, the first year where I actually started going to concert was probably had to have been maybe the best year in '80s metal. Like it was my first concert was Iron Maiden Peace of Mind, and it was second Van Halen,
Wow.
David Lee Roth. Then
Yeah.
I think it was June or something like that, was Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith. And it was right after that, Scorpions Love at First Sting. So it was like pretty epic. That kind of solidified my interest in music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to do that, but you know. the time, and I was mostly into sports though, because I, played hockey my whole life since I was 5, and that was pretty much, you know, the main focus of everything. You know what I mean? And I played most sports, like typical ones like soccer and baseball. And that. Mostly hockey. That's what I played most seriously.
Shoots it on the left-hand side. It is accepted by Elwood, who takes it up towards center. Now across to the center ice line, across the line. Shoots one right on goal. And making the save is Steve Uhas for Rocky Mountain.
Then when I was older, I got into like water ski competition, stuff like that. And actually, I got into motocross when I was 11, and then quit when I was 15, 16. Started water skiing for a few years. Started back again when I was 21. Started racing and stuff like that. The end of the year. It's one of those typical last run of the season sort of thing. It was like we'd already had everything all packed up for the winter in October, and then on the weekend it happened to be really, really sunny out. We went on a ride. First lap on the track, I flew off a cliff, back wheel, hit a rock, flipped over. And, I think I landed on my head.
Jesus.
But, when they did the investigation on the accident, I was going 80 kilometers an hour and a 3-story cliff. So
Oh my God.
I was lucky I landed. It was like beach sand. It was like in an old quarry where we had the track, an old sand quarry. So the soft sand was what made it so that I actually didn't die. I had to lungs and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how I broke back. And then when I got taken to the hospital because we were way out the boonies, I went to like country hospital. I was still had all my that.
Yeah.
Put me on an X-ray table, and then all of a sudden it started making this noise and tilting. And the nurse started screaming, going, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And it fell off onto the floor.
Whoa.
Yeah. So then they took me into Winnipeg into the hospital there, and that's where I did my recovery, or whatever you want to call it, up to that point. So I'm paralyzed from the chest down. A lot of people think I'm paralyzed from the waist down, but paralyzed from the chest down, which is actually the biggest challenge to drumming, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Playing with your hands actually isn't as hard as you would think, because if you know yourself as a drummer, there's a lot of dead space that your left hand isn't
Yeah.
doing while you're playing. So if you use that and just use that for your kick drum, it's not really that hard. For me, basically, it's the fact that I can't balance, because I always have to have at least one hand touching something, so I'm not falling over, because I don't have
Yeah.
ab muscles or lower back muscles or anything like that. So kind of like a weeble. I'm like those things at the parking lot where the air blows through it, and they're all like seriously. Those have more balance than I do. Yeah.
I have a feeling that this interview is going to be me laughing at a lot of inappropriate jokes that you make appropriate.
Yeah,
It's so
it's the truth. Yeah.
okay, so what I find amazing is when you say that you have a lot of time with your left hand to do certain things. You know, as a drummer who I feel like I really do take things for granted, especially when I watch your videos, because I see your left hand doing not only the snare but the bass drum. And to me, my initial reaction is, "Oh my God, that's so crazy. It's such a foreign concept to me. I would never be able to do that." But when we were talking earlier, you said that it's not actually that hard once you put your mind to it. Is that really correct?
It really, really isn't that hard. Like you might like. Well, the way I originally thought about it, like when I first had my accident, I would have been in '89. I thought I thought that you had to have at least 3 limbs activated. So
Yeah.
the first concept that we came up with, my friend Brent, my friend John, who's in my band now, we sort of made me a bass pedal, which I have here that I can show you, and we just basically electrified it. We took a regular Tama bass drum. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like just a pedal like that. And inside that box is a solenoid, and it's hooked up to a cord. And then this thing, then it goes into, like, I don't know if it's a step down box. I'm not an electrician. I'm not 100% sure what it is. But that is another thing that plugs into the wall. Apparently that's so you don't die when you get electrocuted. And then there's like a little cord here that attached to, hold on a second here, another sort of cord here, and that was like a mouthpiece. That right there, I don't know if you can see that, is like from like a baby soother, and there's like a little connector in there, and that was the second version of a switch that we made, and it didn't work at all. But the first one we made, we just used a hockey mouth guard and had it was really dumb open copper wires going through it, and so I put it in my mouth. Then as soon as we turned it on, like I just electrocuted his face. Seriously. But that's kind of dumb. But the worst, dumbest part was we just made like a little adjustment and moved the wire, and then did it again. So electrocuted my face, and we're like, I guess that's not gonna work. And so I blew that off for about, I don't know, maybe 10 or so years. And then when electronics came out, I sort of revisited it, and I got an orthodontist to make basically a custom mouthpiece. Like that was my teeth. And then it's called a purple microdot. We used to laugh about that. Purple. But that's what it's called. And it was like glued into there, and we tried to make it like plug it into an electronic pad or whatever, but it didn't work either. And then I ended up cracking a molar, and it just didn't work, So using a mouthpiece to operate the drum pedal just never ended up working, you know what I mean? And that drum pedal thing, I actually tried using it in some type of a way, but it ended up starting on fire, and it doesn't work anymore. You wouldn't want to plug that thing in there right now. It just started. But then, so none of those things worked, and I never thought that there was another way to do it. but then my wife, someone from her church said, "Oh, we need a conga player." So I went and started playing congas with those guys, and then there was guys there who were in a university Christian rock band, and they were like, "Oh, we need a drummer for a gig coming up. You want to try it out?" So this is where I actually found out this thing started on fire. So I actually said, "Well, I'll try it out." And I brought it out to try and use it, and I remember the woman on the keyboard. She's like, I was trying to do something with it. I don't know. It's just sounding horrible, and she's like, "Can you like try doing something different?" She's all trying to be all nice about it. It's so horrible. And then it literally started on fire. So that was, and then but then I was just sitting around. My wife was playing guitar with this other guy who was playing guitar, and they're playing Tom Sawyer, ironically enough. That's one of my favorite songs from Rush or whatever. And they were just fooling around. There were some drum kits in the room. They had a big music room. They had a bunch of drum kits. So I went behind one of them and just played like a basic beat, like just with my right hand on the floor tom, left hand on the snare. Just did basic beat. It was like a eureka moment. Like right there, I went, I wonder if I just took the floor tom, swapped it onto the left side there, and did like I didn't do it with this kit because it's somebody's kit set up. But at the time, a friend who was storing his drum kit in my basement. So I went home and I took that and I put the floor tom on the left side, and right there I started playing beats. 3 weeks later, in front of like 150 people at a gig, the guy gave me like a cassette tape that had about 8 songs on it, original. I said, "Oh, just make up some drums to it." So I did that, and I put a floor or a pillow. And surprisingly enough, making it pillow sounds a lot like a kick drum.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't, because I was telling you about my balance issues. All I did is I sat in my chair and sort of to sit on the front of the chair. I put a pillow behind my back, sort of moved me out on it, and then to hold myself up, I just took like a sweatshirt, just tied it around, kind of like in the '80s when people would tie up in the summer. Kind of like it was actually really like that. It didn't look that great, but it worked. And and I actually have that on video too. Someone had videoed it, so I actually have the very first time I ever played on video. It's about an hour long or something like that. So, yeah, so that's how that all started. And then my friend from my first band, when I was 15, was also moved from Winnipeg to Kelowna, and we started jamming actually right there, and maybe 2 later after that, and I actually taped that jam. We have the very very first time we ever jammed. We have it on tape, and 2 of the songs that my band has recorded, we wrote. I actually used one of them as a spread track. So started right there, kind of right away. And, just went, yeah.
You're gonna pay.
And that would have been like that was in 2000, and then we started playing gigs like seriously probably in 2002, 2003 around that. So and then like continuously.
Man, that is so amazing. I love how you just never stopped. Like someone like me or someone who was not as driven would have quit a long time ago. And to me, just hearing that story, I have no excuse really.
You know
You
what?
have,
It's not really that. Honestly, you know what it is before my life was dominated with sports. Like I was into hockey, like I was telling you. Motocross is super exciting. You know what I mean? I used to like have really fast cars and used to do street racing. I know it's illegal now. Well, it was legal then. And no, you didn't throw me in jail, you know what I mean? But so I was into like more exciting type things, like water skiing, that kind of stuff. You know, when my accident happened, um, I immediately, like, I wasn't even out of the hospital yet. I started doing wheelchair track and, you know, racing stuff. I
yeah,
went on a few years, competing doing that. But, you know, it's the kind of thing where it's dangerous. Like, they crash all the time and stuff like that. For me, it was like too much like, it takes a lot of energy to play hockey and
yeah,
it's a super high fun factor for the
yeah,
amount of energy you expend. Where the other thing is more or less just like training, like you just all work.
yeah,
Uh, you know what I mean? So it like and because of the height of my injury, I have no balance. So playing basketball, wheelchair basketball, like I remember trying it. Just like, don't pass me the ball. Like, oh,
oh my God.
it's like seriously, it was like murder ball or something. In fact, it was called quad rugby, murder ball back then.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what it's called because it's, you know, knock you out of your chair. So that kind of stuff wasn't as fun. Like I did try all that stuff to try and get back into some type of, you know, exciting type of sport or something like that, you know. And I did try drumming, and that just because of like what I told you, it just didn't work. You know, like I
yeah,
said, it
yeah.
was like a eureka moment. If that didn't happen, if I wasn't there, I wasn't going, I wonder how I'm going to play with just my hands. Like it just didn't even occur to me, like, even in the slightest way. It's just basically like an accident,
Huh.
serendipity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
That's
like,
not going. And the thing about drumming is, you know, like wheelchair sports are great and everything, but it's still like wheelchairy. Like, the athletes are amazing. Like they really are. Like when I was in wheelchair track, like I was getting destroyed by these people. So you know
uh-huh.
yeah, they know it's like it's not super fun sucking at stuff. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
just flying by you. Children are flying by me. Maybe this isn't for me. You know.
Yeah.
And but drumming is it's the exact same feeling as what I used to get from it. Exactly the same. It's the only real non-wheelchair thing that I do. Everything else is kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like just
Got it.
even
Yeah.
like brushing your teeth, you don't even can't even get up close to the counter stuff like that. Everything is that way. You know what I mean? Driving's not wheelchair. Once I get in there, it's the same kind of thing. You know, but there's not many things that don't have that sort of thing attached to it. And drums definitely is exactly how I did before. I think of it the same way. You know,
Yeah.
do it intuitively like I did before. I don't sit there and go, oh, how would I do this with my hand? It just happens, just like how it does for you. Exactly. And
Huh.
like I said, you know, the reason I started doing the YouTube channel was I just actually, you know, obviously if there's somebody who's disabled out there who had the same problem that I did would be able to look at that, oh, maybe I could do that kind of thing. But it's also because I had this fantasy of what it would be like to be able to play drum kit like I can, play songs and all these different things, but then have your feet available. So you
Yeah.
do that, and then like you could do like quadruple bass drum, or you could trigger effects, or you know, like just get a pedicure, play hacky sack, or just around with your feet. Put them in one of those Dr. Scholl's massagers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's you know you see the people, you see them on those drum channels. There's some unbelievable drummers out there that their dexterity all around would easily allow them to do that. You know what I mean? So you know, it'd be kind of cool for someone to maybe get that idea and just sort of take that idea and you know all you'd have to do was have like my kit is essentially 100% acoustic. The only thing that isn't is the kick drum. And
Yeah.
I actually started off with an acoustic one for a couple years. Actually, it was just the floor tom with the pillow in it.
pillow.
You
Yeah.
just put a kick drum mic underneath. It was perfect. It sounded just like a kick drum. We made recordings and everything. But then, as I started developing it, I had to build my own kit. I used a rack system so that I could have everything be in the same spot every time because
Yeah.
I can't adjust to um, I can't adjust it all to a different kit. It's just
Yeah.
impossible. Like even something moving like half an inch kind of screws me up because I
Oh
have
wow.
certain movements or planes of movement that I can actually do because once I'm belted in with I call it my rock and roll, like
Yeah.
over the years, it's like my most essential piece that I have. It's the one piece that I need in order to play, and it's like a belt. I could actually show you that too. And this particular one I've had for 13 years. Belt, and it's 3 actual seat belts around it. The reason I use seat belts is you don't set. It's your lock in place. You can
Yeah.
as a plank, you're in the exact same position. Then you just cinch it up with Velcro. And then I got a bunch of they're foam and plastic pads that I made. Just duct tape.
Yeah.
Because the reason I use duct tape is I'm always changing them, so I don't want anything too permanent, trying to get the proper adjustment. So when you have them all, they're like shims. So when I put them into place, and then here's the front piece. This is the front one. It goes in front of me. That sort of holds me in this way. I can
Does that goes like on your chest or on
This
your
goes
your
hold on, like right here, and then I strap that in, and then the other ones go on the side. This is like Gene Simmons codpiece. That's kind of. I should put like studs on there or something.
Yeah.
But no, so that way I can sort of adjust it as I'm going along too, and if I need more support or less support. It's kind of like the perfect balance between being supported and still being to kind of move forward a bit or move
Got it,
sideways,
yeah.
thing like that. So that was by far the most difficult part of designing my not the kit, but it's part of my kit. Yeah, like I can't. If I didn't have it, I would literally not be able to play at all. It's by far the hardest thing. That was the hardest part to actually overcome. Way, way, way harder than playing with hands. That part's
But-
easy compared to actually not being able to balance at all. Because I can't. If I go like this with my hands in front of me, I will fall over. I have to have something to hold me up.
To hold you, yeah.
So yeah.
And another thing, you were when we were talking before, you said another thing that really hit me, that I never even paid attention to was, like, you were saying that everything has to be within your arm's reach. Like you can't turn your body, you can't reach or.
No, not at all. Like I can go like that because like you got to remember I'm like strapped in. Like I mean like as tight as I can pull it, and like the Velcro is all blown out of it now. So I just use duct tape and I take about 10 pieces of duct tape and just takes me like 15 minutes to put it on. So like if I'm playing gigs and stuff like that, I have to take that into consideration that I need like at least 15 minutes to get up and get all my gear on and stuff like that. And then I have brakes on my wheelchair, but they won't hold my chair in place while I'm playing. They'll slip back and slide around. So I have one of my friends found some wheel chocks from a semi on the side of the road and say, hey man, can you use those? And they're like, perfect. And I just stick them in my wheel. And they're literally like maybe 8 or 10 pounds semi wheel chocks, and they hold everything sort of in place. So that's how that works. And, yeah. So I actually didn't line everything up with my kit. It's just that when you're just over time trying to get everything in the perfect place, and okay, that works out there. And then by the time, and then at the end of the day, when you see how everything's set up, I actually just noticed it one day. I went, oh, that's odd. Like everything's in a complete straight line. You know what I mean? Like everything. If you look at the kick, my hi-hat, snare, floor tom, ride cymbal, it's just all in one line like that, almost directly. And that was just because that's how it happened to work out. You know what I mean? Because I can't adjust for those things. Like I can't turn my this way or that way or whatever. But you get used to it, and it makes no difference. It can be a little bit like you get sort of like I have rotator cuff issues with my shoulder that are really bad. Like if you watch my videos, you see how my one arm's kind of lost range of motion with it. And that's
Wow.
that's also from an injury too. I wiped out my chair a while back and probably ripped it up a little bit. And then the thing is, you can't really heal injuries when you're reefing on your shoulder all day, every day. You know what I mean? It's kinda hard to,
Yeah.
so you can't just, oh, I just want to use my shoulder for a few days, isn't a thing.
Yeah. Oh my.
So
That's
it's kind of that way. So it's whatever. It's just you know, everyone has issues with different things, but that's the main thing. You know, the physical part of it.
so. I want to know from the time you had your eureka moment where you were playing on the tom and then you put the tom over here until the time that you got your set pretty dialed in. How long of a time period was that?
Well, you know, like I said, when I played in front of those people, I actually was borrowing a friend's kit that was in my basement, and then when I went and did that show, that's when I actually found out how to play hi-hats and be able to open it, go like with your foot.
Yeah.
Because instead of having just the one set of hi-hats that I couldn't control with my foot, the church where I played at had a kit. So I took the two of them at the time and just slapped them together for that one particular gig, and I took both hi-hats and just put them close together, and that's when I noticed that I could just hit an open set and a closed set, and when they hit the open one, it's like opening your foot. And I went, oh, so why don't I just get, like on my kit, the hi-hats that I have, the small ones, it's just, all it is the clutch has no key in it. So it's just open all the time. So I have the closed one and the open one. I just go like that. You know what I mean? So it just working perfectly. So I just kind of like, I don't know, bumbled along for a little bit, just trying stuff out. But to have an effective kit was pretty much right away. Like honestly, like I was so into it that I could actually do that. I just started thinking about nothing but that. You know what I mean? And then I went and I bought like a drum rack, and then from there just added pieces. Like, oh, I'll put one here, I'll put one there, and then I ended up building like a huge kit. Like it's much larger than what I have now, like 2 floor toms and 10 cymbals. It's just ridiculous. And then I figured out what I use and don't use and just stripped it down. And then when you start gigging too, right? You're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can fit right now. I can fit my entire kit in my car plus my wheelchair.
That's awesome.
I've always been able to fit it in a car, so I could drive like distances and whatever I have to do. You know what I mean, to bring my stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
right away, like I started, like I said, I started recording immediately. And then formed like my band that I still am in right now. Like I'm in a cover band and I've done lots of different projects and stuff like that. But my main focus is my original band called Life. We've had like, you know, really, really cool shows, like large shows, small shows, big stages, small stages. So I've had to adapt to, like, the drumming is one thing, but then when you start gigging and you have to absolutely use your kit, no other kit, you have to have it work in a way that you can tell people, stage managers and stuff, that, oh, I can get this thing on and off if we're playing with multiple bands or whatever the situation is really fast. You know, so the way it's set up now is if I'm going to, depending on which where you're playing and set, I can either have it on the stage or off the stage in about 15 minutes because it's all one piece. All you do is just pull away the snare and the floor tom, and then 2 or 3 people can pick the whole thing up in one piece. So I'm not ripping it down on stage. I can just play, have it, grab it, pull it off the stage, and then worry about tearing it down. Move it out, or vice versa, putting it on the stage, and then I have, like for my close miking and stuff like that, I just have it on a loom number and pull it out. Snake. That way, otherwise it's hard to convince people like, yeah, I need an hour in between a set or so. It's not gonna work, right? So I had to sort of, and then also what I did, because I have limited space a lot of times, is I just took pipe cutters and just cut every single bit of unneeded piece hardware off. So there's nothing sticking, there's no feet sticking out. It's actually got, for the size of kit that it is, it's actually got a small footprint. And then I put 2 inches on each side that if it's backed up to a wall, I can fit in to get behind the kit. So, it's pretty streamlined right now, you know. And I don't have another kit either. A lot of people have multiple kits, and I only have one. So every time we play, I have to tear it all down, set it back up.
You know, it's so crazy to me because you would think that someone in your situation, people would be a lot more. I mean, and I'm not saying that they aren't, but just because you're so considerate about other people, I would imagine it would be the other way around, like where people should be catering to you and
Well,
helping you out.
well,
You're
I think
doing
that's
kind of the same thing.
well, you know what the thing about is it's like you're trying to do something. It's not like a novelty act, right? Like you're going there and you're in a band and everybody else is in a band, and you know you're all trying to do the same thing. So you have to respect what's going on. Like people don't care that, you know, like what your situation is if they want to come watch a show. You know what I mean? Or if there's other bands involved and stuff like. And we played like like opened up for like major acts and stuff like that, where you have to, you know, have to have a very very workable system. You know,
Yeah.
that goes from way back. Like we started like our very first show we ever did ever in my life band. Back, I can't remember the year. Maybe like I can't remember, but it was for Todd Kearns, and it was like he's fairly big in Canada, and he had a couple big bands in Canada. He's actually Slash's bass player right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Miles Kennedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the vocals and the bass, make some noise for Mr. Todd, damn it, Kearns. When you look, you see right through me.
So we had to have all that worked out, you know, before we did that kind of a thing, or else it just, you know, it's just the way it is. So you have to be able to adapt to that kind of thing. You want to do it like professionally and stuff like that. Just no way around. And
Yeah.
it's better anyway. I want it to be like that. I don't want it to be big pain in the ass for my own self. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
gotta it's gotta be very efficient. You know what I mean? As far as that's
Well, I mean,
part of it, right? Like everyone has to do that, and
you would think. I mean, I know I could. We'll get into this too because you were saying when we were talking earlier how you're not very good at other instruments. I actually play other instruments and I write my own
Have you
songs and
sang?
whatnot. Yeah, so I used to have a band, and I'm not saying my drummer did this, but I've encountered quite a few left-handed drummers who like aren't considerate of the fact that they have to rearrange the whole set. And it's kind of like it's a stigma with left-handed drummers. Anytime a left-handed drummer would come into a gig, the sound guy would be like, "Oh, great," because
Yeah, 'cause,
most left-handed drummers, they don't consider that, they just look at it as, oh, it's the sound guy's job to cater to my, unorthodoxy, or for lack of a better term. They don't like. It's just that, at least the guys that I've played with, or that I've seen, um, they don't have like that kind of like what you have, where you're trying to be considerate, you're trying to be professional, you're trying to like get on and off the stage as quick as possible. The left-handed guys don't really have that. It's
well,
it's kind of weird.
a lot of it too is that it needs to be done in a specific way, and it's almost impossible to expect someone to know how that is for me. You know what I mean? It's easier just to be able to just do it yourself and have a system in place, because it's almost impossible for someone to know that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, where's this going to go, or how are you going to meet this kind of thing? You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that no one can be expected to know that kind of thing. So it's almost like it's almost like a selfish thing to have it done in such a specific way, which is a requirement for me. You know, it literally has to be a certain way, like, without too much
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So it's just one of those things. If you want to do those situations, you have to have that figured out. You know what I mean? Like, and it's better to figure it out beforehand than go there and go, oh. You know what I mean? Because that's actually never once happened. We've never actually ever in all the years never once had like, oh, this won't work, or
That's awesome.
some type of a real huge train wreck has never actually happened. You know, because you have to think. You just think about every possible problem, and then hopefully none of them happen. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
them happen. You know what I mean? There's always some
Yeah.
adrenaline. right?
Yeah, always something. But
Yeah.
stick goes flying, or
Oh yeah, that happens. Oh hell yeah.
symbol thing goes flying, and then your
Exactly.
symbols go.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I have this fear that my drum module won't work, or someone breaks the cable on
Oh yeah.
something, because then I'm hooped. The only thing I ever thought of that I could maybe make do is do the floor tom thing, like in an emergency situation. If that ever actually did happen, you probably could salvage the thing if you did. It wouldn't be ideal, but you could probably do it.
Yeah.
It's possible. You know, so yeah, but yeah, so that's basically, like, as far as equipment and situational sort of logistics, that's something that I just had to work out from the very beginning. Because, where it was like, it's always been it's always been a little bit more than a hobby. We've always been in, like, professional situations where you had to, you know, have that taken care of. So,
Yeah.
and then recording is different. I do actually do a lot of recording too and stuff like that, and I have, like, for about 18 years. So
Nice.
yeah. So
What? So I want to ask one of the questions that I normally ask the other guys. Do you like? What do you prefer, to be in the studio or on stage?
I like on stage better, but I do like studio because it's fun writing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my method is, because I don't read, I always have everything prepared, and normally I've gone over it and written it and memorized it before I even go to a studio. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not like a session player who can just, it's always, I've worked out a million different ways of doing things, and kind of the way I do it is I usually get scrub tracks, backing tracks, and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and just go over it and try every possibility, and then play super super busy. You know what I mean? And just edit it all
Yeah.
down. So that way, when you're going in, so like, we do everything in one take. And then what I'll always do is, I don't play to a click track, but I will create a scrub track
Yeah.
that I'm playing to that. Sort of like how when I was learned to play drums, I would always learn back
Hmm.
to the original. And
Yeah.
reason being is, when you do that, you are essentially, you have unlimited amounts of drum teachers.
Yeah.
You do,
Totally.
and the thing is, a lot, especially the old style music, like now everything's all synced up to a grid, and
Yeah.
so it's not really, there's no groove. Or I shouldn't say none. Some, I guess maybe there's, but there's not that same old-fashioned stylings that they used to have.
Hmm.
In the 80s, and well, of course before that, but where, like, you see in Zeppelin, it's not perfect meter, but it's
Yeah.
got fantastic groove. So if you can go and emulate it exactly, then you're actually, like, learning their style, and like, exactly how they play. Like for me, when I'm playing on a stage or playing a cover band, I'd, like, literally pretend like I'm playing in that band.
Huh.
And exactly, it's like, this is how it must have felt, or what they were thinking when they wrote this. And when you're playing popular music, there's a reason that stuff is popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, they didn't just go up there and la di da. Like, there's a reason why that stuff is great. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
most of those great drummers did painstakingly go over parts. You can tell just by the way it's written. It's not like drum pattern, add fill here.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's inspired, right? You can just tell by the way, especially older stuff. I think that's why nowadays the older music is so popular with young people compared
Yeah.
to, like, say, like when I was 15, the stuff that the kids now are listening to, like, stuff that we listened to that was old when I was young, like 15. The stuff that we were was classic rock. We thought it was old,
Yeah.
loved it, stuff like that. But the kids now that are 10 years old are playing that kind of stuff. I go, it's like, that'd be like us playing, like, Glenn Miller Orchestra. It's so weird. You know what I mean? Like that, like,
Yeah.
stuff that's 40 or 50 years old. I mean, Led Zeppelin came out in '68. That's
Yeah.
pretty bizarre. We wouldn't be in '85. You wouldn't be listening to stuff that came out in 1935.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird situation nowadays. I think that has a lot to do with it. It's just that the construction of music itself was more organic back then, as opposed to just cut and paste. all that kind of. You can tell it's like that. You know what I mean? It sounds cut and paste. It's like it's almost like they're you get at the risk of being critical. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's amazing playing. Like you hear the people playing now. It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But there's just something about like even the way they used to record Stones and stuff. It's like they would record. It would be separate booths and stuff, but they're playing. You know what I mean? So you have that gel of a band that you can't get other than that. You can get it by overdubbing on top of stuff like that as long as you're playing to something.
Yeah.
That's just sort of my method I've always used is just in a live way, try and do it in one track. Like we do punch-ins sometimes, very rarely, because it sucks if you're doing a 5-minute song and you do it perfectly. You get 3.5 minutes, and then it's like, I don't want to go all the way from the beginning because I know I'm going to make a mistake 2 minutes in. So it's nice that you can actually punch in and do that kind of stuff. But nothing is like in my band Life's music. Nothing's synced to a grid or anything like that. It's just done related tracks.
That's interesting, because that was another one of the questions that I usually ask is whether you sync up to a metronome or not. And I tend to agree with you. And I think also why kids listen to older stuff is because, nowadays everybody's on the computer, everybody's doing that whole computer thing. So when you hear something that wasn't generated on the computer, it's like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
And it's like a whole new, it's like a new thing for them.
I never actually thought of it that way. Yeah, because it's so different. It's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not so perfect. Because the thing is, like, computer generated music sounds like computer generated music completely. It's like you could there's something about the perfection of it that doesn't sound human. You know what I mean? And that I don't know if that's just because of the generation I come from, but it just doesn't appeal to me that as much as something that's done, because music is a human thing. It's not.
Yep.
There's no robots marching around playing guitar. You know what I mean? Not yet. There will be.
Yeah, I'm sure there will.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird, man. Like that's one of those foreign things where I think I would like if you were to see it in a movie, it'd be like, oh, that's so weird. And then, maybe 10, 20 years it comes to life and you're like, oh my God, it's like actually here. That's, to me, it feels like it's like right around the corner. Like that's going to happen really soon, whether it's robots or it's maybe those holograms that they've been trying to do. Like it's just a creepy thing.
I've been actually thinking about that for a long time, because like even back in the 80s when they had like Simmons drums or synthesizers and electronics when that was first starting out, that thing. I kind of thought like, wow, it's just gonna get super like computery, like even like it'll be nothing but that. But the thing about it is that it's pretty much gone almost, it seems like, as far as you could. As like, I mean, every single thing's been done, every song, every type of music thing. There's nothing really different at all. It's just it's pretty hard to be completely innovative, because
original.
People actually like how come with all the unbelievably awesome electronic kits you can buy, that rolling TV, it's just amazing. You can have like unlimited sounds, and the sounds are fantastic. But why does everyone still play acoustic kits?
Yeah.
About that naturalness, or acoustic guitars, things like that. There's something about the human element that will never, be on, or never not have a place.
Yeah.
That human thing. Music is like an emotional, inspired thing. It's not like a mathematical. There's mathematical elements.
Yeah.
That's not the thing that makes people feel things, right? So.
Yep, exactly.
Always going to be a place for that kind of stuff. People still play violin. They're still playing symphonies in every major city, right?
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Like it's it's so crazy to me. I used to have a Roland kit, and I could never get used to it. And I love watching all the guys that play on electric kits, because it amazes me that they can get the sounds that they get, because I've been there and I can't get that sound. Like, I have to play an acoustic kit, and it's probably like, I know it's me. I know, like, if I just changed my mindset, I could get to that place.
No, and they are unbelievably excellent kits, and you can play it in a acoustic fashion. Like, they're still playing the kit. It's just that they're generating the noises a little bit differently. You know what I mean? So they're still actually playing.
Yeah.
But it's more about, for me, the way it's being played as opposed to what you're playing. You know what I mean? Like, keyboards are completely electronic, but they're still super cool. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Still
that's
have
true.
look, feel, and groove if you want to be good at it, right?
Yeah.
You know, so there's, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with, trying different instruments and sounds and all that kind of stuff. But I just think that the human generated sort of music, say, and writing, stuff like that, that's the word.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, totally. Well, I wanted to know why you switched from a bass drum or a tom on your left side to the pad.
just because it sounds better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Like, because a kick drum doesn't have as much, like, it's not like a tom or a cymbal or a snare where you need that, more, I don't know what it's a more of a, there's less frequencies. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
be like a tom or a cymbal. There's not so many reverberations coming. It's like a thud. So
Yeah.
as long as the thud's cool, and I mean, even if you think about it, when you mic up a kick drum, they take a lot of
Yeah.
without a
Mhm.
pillow and stuff like that. It's just a different part of the sound. So it doesn't really need to be have the same type.
Yeah.
That's just, and it's easier to play faster things and be more consistent with it, because the thing about it is, if you're doing lots of really fast transitions back and forth, like
Yeah.
be more consistent when you set up the electronic one. You can tell every time I hit it, it's the same, even
Yeah.
if it's slightly off. You know, you can. But the one drawback to that is I can't really play different volumes. Doesn't you know what I mean? Like, but I played in a rock was trying to keep volume down, because
Oh, okay.
so what they end up doing is just put the big cage around me, or that
The
plastic
plexiglass thing or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it too is, like, when you're in a band pit in the front, they had 22 headsets, and they're all wandering around singing, doing different things behind you. So you can't have that bleed into there. It's almost impossible to mix.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it,
Yeah.
to do so. So that, in that situation, maybe not the best, but for rock music, it doesn't matter. You just pound it out.
Yeah.
And so it's just to have something that's more consistent and powerful is more beneficial than having, like, I'm not playing jazz and stuff like that. It probably wouldn't work in that, honestly.
Yeah.
When you're doing, different velocities and stuff like that, more touchy kind of things, probably wouldn't work the best. Maybe I could do it better acoustic. That's not
Yeah.
that's the genre I normally play, which I have total respect for. It's just not what I particularly do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, never thought about that. But yeah, that probably would be something you have to do.
I mean, have you ever been approached to do any jazz gigs or anything like that?
No, not really. No, that's just not really. It's not my circle and stuff like that. So I don't really know people who are involved in that. I shouldn't say it. Like, one of my really good friends is an amazing jazz drummer, and he plays in a prog metal band that is. They're called Empyrea, and the two guitar players from my band Life play in that band as well. And they used to practice in my basement and stuff, so I used to see him.
Nice.
Jazz player, yeah, chops like really great. Yeah. but I just don't. That's not my circle, so I've never really. And I don't think anyone has ever seen me play an example of that. They probably want me to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Let's get that guy. Yes,
So, but you have played. So you've played some interesting shows. What are maybe like your one or two of your favorite shows that you played?
Well, we played like we've opened up for, like I said, our first one was Todd Kearns, was really cool. But then we opened up for Funk Railroad and
Wow.
Foreigner.
Wow.
And Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Like classic rock. It was actually the first time Leonard Skinner played in Canada since like 1977 or something.
Wow.
That was cool. We did a hip hop show one time. We were the only rock band.
Cool.
Chaos and all. Yeah.
Wow.
Weird. Yeah. And then our CD release parties were really great because there was, that's your own show. It's a long show we do. They were really great. Really good, really good sound systems, and everyone's there to see your band. So that part was really cool. They were always great.
I feel the temperature rising as I got the inside. The lights ahead are changing again. Short fuse, you lose. A range driven by the path you choose. Make the connection change. Get in my way, you're gonna pay.
I did a major production rock musical in 2015 and 2017. That was really, really different, really challenging too, because it's like I don't read music, so I had to memorize 2 hours of original, and it's like prog music, prog rock, I guess you would call it. It was like very complicated, yeah, and it's like all different stops and dialogue and all these things that you had to consider.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Extremely challenging, yeah. And then I was sort of a late add-on, so I didn't have a lot of time to get it all under control and stuff like that. And so that was, but it was really fun, and it was, yeah, so like stuff like that.
An all-Okanagan musical is getting some industry attention before it's even debuted. Cast and crew are almost ready to bring it to the big stage. Lauren Pullen gives us a sneak peek of The Raft of the Medusa.
Man, that's so awesome. And this is all after your accident, right? While you're in your,
Oh
in
yeah,
your
no, I
wheelchair.
never did anything cool before my accident. I had my 2 cool gigs on tape. That's it. I'm not joking. Yeah, no, we never. Like we, it wasn't serious. I wasn't really very serious at it. I was more serious in sports. You know what I mean?
By the way,
I didn't take
for all the people watching, Jeff is gonna be sending me a bunch of stuff from now. He's already sent me some stuff tonight, but from now until I release this thing, he's gonna be sending me some more things, and hopefully I'll be able to get some of it into this actual interview. But if not, it'll all be linked in the description. So anything you want to see, old Jeff videos, old Jeff photos or whatever, just check the description and